Italy, Tuscany, gravel. This could be the greatest cycling cocktail known to man, and it's being served up again this Saturday in Siena. Can anyone stop Tadej Pogacar from winning Strade Bianche again in the famous piazza among the thousands of cheering fans? We'll get to Tadej Pogacar and all the favorites I think you should be keeping an eye on this Saturday, March 2nd. But first, let's talk about the race because it's taken a major step forward in 2024 and added even more reasons why we think it can be considered one of the newest monuments in cycling. Strade Bianche gave us gravel before gravel was considered cool. Long before the trend of gravel bikes or the rise of the Gravel World Championships, we had Strade Bianche. The organizer embraced the early charm of the Giro d'Italia when it went over those gravel roads here and there, or what the Giro would do in later years, adding in a few gravel stages. Remember 2010, Cadel Evans in the Rainbow World Championship jersey, winning the stage in Tuscany? In 2007, a star was born, using the charm of the Eroica Gran Fondo in the same area and adding in top-level pros. The stars turned up, they won, and they loved it. They would often try to find a way to fit it into their busy schedules of the opening weekend Omloop Het Nieuwsblad beforehand and the races to come, like the Paris-Nice, Tirreno Adriatico stage races, and the classics ahead, like Milano-San Remo and the Tour of Flanders. In the process, with the wins like those from Fabian Cancellara and Philippe Gilbert, Strade Bianche became a classic. Some would even consider it monument-worthy, but we'll get to that later. For 2024, Strade Bianche is giving us more of what we love, gravel. The race will now cover over 200 kilometers for the first time, and that means more of a classic feel and more gravel. The race's makeover sees a final circuit repeated twice, 15 sectors in total, or 71 kilometers of gravel that stretches 215 kilometers. The race begins at Siena's Fort and heads south of town through some of Italy's most picturesque landscapes. Think rolling hills, cypress trees, olive trees, vineyards, and riders racing on small farm roads, some of them gravel, some going through towns as old as the Renaissance. This is Strade Bianche. And oh, did I mention Piazza del Campo, the finish of the bike race, where they hold the horse race twice a year. It's a natural stadium and one of the coolest, most picturesque finishes in all of cycling. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the meat of the race, the 15 sectors or 71 kilometers of gravel. They come early in the race, they come late in the race, and they come in the middle too. The big one, 11.5 kilometers, arguably the hardest, is Monte Santa Maria, with gravel up a steep climb and a gravel descent. It's in the second half of the race, and it's definitely going to shape the outcome. Then we have this new finish that's going to change the race. These back-to-back gravel sectors, Colle Penzutto and Trophy, which are in the circuit that is repeated twice, the final one leaving around 12 kilometers to race. This means that gravel comes much later in a race that is longer. All of this without mentioning the finish in Siena. To get to the famous piazza, everyone has to race up the nasty Santa Caterina road. This is where Wout van Aert cramped, got back on his bike, and went on to finish third in 2018 in what was a breakout performance. Belgian Wout van Aert would return 2 years later in 2020 and win the race, joining a rich and prestigious list of winners over the past 17 editions that includes Philippe Gilbert, Mikel Kwiatkowski, Zdeněk Stybar, Tish Benoot, Julian Alaphilippe, Mathieu van der Poel, Tadej Pogacar, and in 2023, 20-kilometer solo, Tom Pidcock. Fabian Cancellara won 3 times, 2008, 2012, 2016. Enough that they named one of the sectors after him. That's one of the longest, most grueling sectors, 11.5 kilometers, Monte Santa Maria. When the riders begin that sector, if they look right over there to the right before they start, they'll see a plaque, a little stone with Cancellara's name on it. On the women's side, Demi Vollering won last year in a head-to-head with her teammate Lotte Kopecky. Those two, again, are the favorites in the 2024 Strade Bianche women's race. They both race for Team SD Works in a race that's 137 kilometers and just as power-packed. Last time Tadej Pogacar raced was in 2022. He won attacking 50 kilometers out and winning solo in Siena. That year, he just come from the UAE Tour where he made his debut and won the race overall in his sponsor's home country. This year, the race will mark his 2024 season debut. Pogacar last raced in Lombardia to close out his 2023 season, where he went on a 31-kilometer ripper to win solo, in a season that included victories in the Tour of Flanders, Flèche Wallonne, Amstel Gold Race, and finishing second in the Tour de France. His team includes Tim Wellens, who just finished second in Kuhn-Brussels-Kuhn, and new Mexican star Isaac Del Toro. British rider Tom Pidcock will offer the biggest competition to Pogacar. Last year's winner is one of the most adept to this sort of terrain. His Ineos team includes two-time winner Mikel Kwiatkowski, Geraint Thomas, Egan Bernal, and American Magnus Sheffield. Another U.S. rider, Sepp Kuss, is leading the Visma Super Team. Wout van Aert is not racing. He just helped teammate Jan Tratnik win Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, and then the day later, Sunday, he won Kuhn-Brussels-Kuhn for himself. He's taking a break. His next race will be E3, Gent-Wevelgem, and the big ones, Flanders and Paris-Roubaix. American Nielsen Paulus leads the EF Education Easy Post team along with Ben Healy. Simon Yates of Jayco Alula should ride well over the climbs, but perhaps is not suited to the gravel as much as Pogacar and Pidcock. Also, keep an eye out on Soudal Quickstep. They'll want to make up for disastrous Omloop Het Nieuwsblad last weekend. They'll be leading with their stars Julian Alaphilippe, 2019 winner, and the Danish rider Kasper Asgreen, former Tour of Flanders winner. Mathieu van der Poel, the 2021 winner, will not be racing. He's yet to make his season debut. After winning the Cyclocross World Championships, he's taking a break. His debut will come in Milano-San Remo later on in March. The weather, well, it's been raining all week in Tuscany. This Saturday, expect mostly cloudy skies with light rain and a potential for a mud fest like 2018 when Tiesj Benoot won. Temperatures will hover around 8 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees or 47 degrees Fahrenheit to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Given its rich history, its star-studded list of winners is this cycling's newest monument, the sixth one, adding to a list of 5, Milano-San Remo, the Tour of Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and Lombardia. You can decide that. Consider it this Saturday when we're all glued to the screens watching the 2024 Strade Bianche.